Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from whatever time zone you may be in. This is Off the Grid Podcast with Aiden and Jared.
Getting out those to the truth.
Oh, that was a good one there. Anyways, Aiden has a topic that he picked out tonight.
Yes.
This is one that Aiden's been wanting to discuss, I think, for a while, right?
Very long time, yes.
Yeah.
It's about autism, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, Jared, I'll ask you personally first.
Yeah.
Why do you think I picked this?
Because it's something that affects you personally.
Yes. And it's my mind, it is a societal issue that's not very touched upon.
Yeah.
It's something that's like, like a couple podcasts ago, they talk about the showing support for the LGBTQ community, about, gay people and trans people, but where are we at in this?
Right. It's something that isn't discussed as often.
Mm-hmm.
It can kind of be overshadowed with, like you were saying, like the LGBTQ community. They're always coming out to the top saying they're not represented enough.
Yeah. And minorities as well.
Yeah, minority communities.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's the...
Well, first of all, I was going to ask you, what do you think of when you hear the word autism? What do you think of? Like, what do you picture? Like, what do you think of?
Well, I think of, people that, they think a little different.
Yeah.
Than, someone without autism.
Yeah.
Not saying that it's like, complete, like a bad thing necessarily, but it's, something that you got to learn to live with.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. So for the 1% of you who probably don't know what this even is,
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised because, first of all, it's not taught in schools. Funnily enough, like in the health class, I never heard about it at least once. I never heard about it once. So anyway, what is it, right? So autism is also known as ASD, or autism spectrum disorder, and it refers to a broad range of conditions characterized by challenges with social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech, and nonverbal communication. According to the Centers of Disease Control, autism affects an estimated 1 in 44 children in the United States today. That number's actually jumped up to 54, but...
Wow.
Yeah. We know that there was not one kind of autism, but many subtypes, most influenced by a combination of genetic and environmental factors. Because autism is a spectrum disorder, each person with autism has a distinct set of strengths and challenges. The ways in which people with autism learn, think, and problem solve can range from highly skilled to severely challenged. Some people with ASD may require significant support in their daily lives, while others may need less support, and in some cases live entirely independently. So, yeah, based off of those two first paragraphs, what do you think?
It makes sense to me. Like it affects each person differently. Mm-hmm. Some people have, isn't like autism like a spectrum? Yeah. So there's it depends where you are on the spectrum, but if you're like at a, I don't have it in front of me, but if you had the spectrum, you would see like certain parts of the spectrum are more challenged.
Yeah.
In terms of their thinking capabilities.
Yes.
Heck, we've had some severely autistic people in school.
Yeah.
And you've seen them in the hallway. They've literally we've seen them like all school.
Yeah.
All of our school career, and we've seen them there.
And I try to show them love because I know what it's like to a lesser degree.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And Aiden, you're not anywhere close to how they are.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
They're on the more severe side of autism.
Yeah.
But those types of people...
I don't want to say it, but the only way I come up with is debilitating.
Yeah. It really affects their quality of life, and also affects just they can't be independent. What it said, some people can be independent.
Live fully independently.
Live entirely independently is what the article says.
Like me. Like if I will really put my foot down, I think I could.
Yeah.
Yeah. I must call it high functioning, so... Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so interesting, guys. So, Thank you, Jode.
Yeah,
Autism's kicking in now.
You're good. That's what I'm here for.
You're my support.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Aiden, stay on track now.
Shut the
I'm kidding. I'm playing.
idiot.
Just remember in school.
He's been telling me that for 12 years, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, he just gives a little glance and I'm like, oh shit.
I have permission to make fun of him. We've been friends for a long time.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Anyway, so signs of this usually appear around age 2 or 3, funnily enough.
That makes sense.
Some associated development delays can appear even earlier. And excuse me, my God, I don't know what's wrong with me tonight.
Coffee. Oh, wait.
Coughing coffee.
Coffee, yeah. Aiden in his Starbucks. He's like,
yeah. Anyway, often it can be diagnosed as early as 18 months, which I don't know how. The research I've done, I don't know how they can determine that.
well, I would have to look at
that early.
I know that one of the ways that they can discover if some child has autism, like some sort of autism, is that a big sign is if they're not smiling.
Oh, yeah.
When they're a little child. So if you're noticing your baby is not smiling when you like talk to him or him or her, or do something funny and they're not smiling, and
showing no emotion,
yeah, if they're not showing certain emotions, then yeah, there might be an issue there.
And that one's parallel to what the symptoms are.
Yeah.
So anyway, research shows that early intervention leads to positive outcomes later in life for people with autism. So basically what they're saying, the earlier you discover it,
the better.
The more you can adapt to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way it doesn't come as a surprise to the parents, too.
Yeah. Can you imagine like living your entire life as an adult and not knowing why you always like struggle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was from autismspeaks.org.
Yes.
I've heard of that website before.
One of the biggest autism organizations in the world, basically.
Yeah.
So this is from WebMD.
Oh, boy.
So challenges that come with being autistic, right? So behavioral, aggression, which... Am I aggressive? I don't think I'm aggressive. I mean, I'm sure as hell compulsive, but I don't know about...
Well, could compulsive and aggression kind of go together? Like, your aggression kind of comes, like, all of a sudden?
Yeah, I guess,
But I don't think you're like that, though.
No.
Good. I don't know. Well, it affects everyone differently, I guess.
Like I said, it's a spectrum.
Yeah.
So, aggression, compulsive behavior, fidgeting.
Yep, that's you.
Absolutely, that's me.
He's a fidgeter, everybody.
Yes. Impulsivity, dude, in school, oh my God.
Still is.
Impulsivity, repetitive movements, social isolation. God, that one hits hard. Thanks, WebMD. Or persistent repetition of words.
Got to diagnose yourself with WebMD. That's the most dangerous website to
Instead
diagnose
of going
yourself.
to Cleveland Clinic, be like,
Yeah.
hey, WebMD. Oh my God, I'm autistic.
Yeah, or like you have some other severe disease.
Oh my God, I have a heart condition.
Yeah, and then you go to the doctor, and that's not what you have.
No,
at
but
all.
just stress.
Yeah, just stress. Oh, it's those finals from school. Yeah,
Finals, man.
that'll do it.
So, challenges, muscular challenges, right? Mm-hmm. Jared, I swear to God, if you make a joke when I explain this, I'm gonna flip. Inability to combine muscle movements, poor coordination, or tics. I can see you struggling to not make a joke.
I don't know about a joke from this, but I can pull some examples of when that affected you.
Yes, please let the audience know, please.
Okay, so
I want to hear this.
So, quick story, guys. We're going to Quail Hollow, right?
Oh gosh, this one.
And we're not on like crazy terrain.
We're not on drugs either. First of all,
yeah, and we're not drinking before we're going hiking, which would probably be a bad idea.
Yeah, I do almost know I only am.
Yeah. Aiden without alcohol is crazy, but Aiden with it is even more.
Anyway, though, so tell them what happened.
So going hiking is like we have so much fun going hiking. By the way,
fun, guys. Like it's so amazing.
Right by closest to us is Quail Hollow, and it's a Stark Park, and it's a beautiful park.
Yes,
Aiden and I have had a lot of fun there, and we haven't actually gone yet this year, so we'll have to go maybe next week or so if the weather's good.
Walkie-talkies.
Yeah, I want to get walkie-talkies just to be
fun.
stupid, but just go back to our fifth grade days.
Let's go.
We had so many fifth grade memories.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
But oh my god.
Anyway, so what happened? Tell us what happened.
We're not on like crazy terrain or anything, but like the there's some roots sticking out from the trees and stuff. So Aiden, he's like tripping over stuff, and it's like Aiden's like, I don't know if I can make it up there. I'm like, Aiden, it's like the small little hill, like just walk, and you can make it up the hill.
And I make it up there like nothing.
Yeah. It's like,
you should have seen me at Virginia Ledge.
Wait, what? Say that again?
Virginia Ledge is during the 4th of July. I remember when we were hiking.
Oh yeah. That was fun.
I was like, Jared, I'm gonna die. He's like, you're fine. Just stick to the walk wall, you idiot. You'll be fine.
Although, wait, we were at the gorge, right? And,
yes. And I almost slipped multiple times.
Well, that is actually more dangerous than Quail Hollow.
And yet I found it easier. So,
yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Because I went with my girlfriend to the gorge several times hiking, and there's certain paths you should not take. Like there's one path that's like one of the higher ones up on the hill.
Yeah.
And it was even closed off. And we're like, well, let's go on it.
You did not.
It said closed. There was a sign. It's like, it doesn't look that bad. And then we end up going on that path, and like, we had to cross like a waterfall. We had to go over it, and it was nothing but rocks. So like the path was like not even there.
Oh,
we
screw
that. We had to climb over rocks. Aiden would probably have a panic attack if he was doing that.
Yes.
And
yes.
But yeah, we made it. We almost felt like we were going to die there for a little while, but we made it through. We were okay. We didn't have to call the emergency services, so we were good.
Oh my gosh,
but yeah,
imagine how fun that was.
Aiden and I need to go hiking again. That was
not there.
Not there. I don't think Aiden wants to do that again.
Again?
No.
Anyway,
but remember, there's that cemetery in Quail Hollow. That was pretty cool, though. Kind of freaky a little bit.
We found a creepy burial ground too.
Yeah, I think it's
like an Indian.
Well, I think it's
like an Indian burial ground or something.
I think it's the family that owned the property before. I think that's like their family cemetery.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was, because it used to be owned by
not the cemetery.
Oh, you're talking about Indian mounds out in the woods?
Out in the middle of the woods, there's a burial ground.
Yeah, I believe there's one, too, out in my grandma's woods, too. Because it's like in the shape of a body. It's about the length of like a 5-foot, whatever. Not exactly a 6-foot tall person, but, about an average height. And it's out in the woods, not too far back in my grandma's woods. It's kind of freaky. It's like, jeez. I bet if you dug it up, there'd be bones in there, which I would not do because that'd be disturbing.
Pet cemetery, my God.
Oh, no. I couldn't do that. Oh.
Anyway,
okay,
we
so anyway.
Way off track.
Yeah, we had fun there.
Anyway, so all that to say, I have poor coordination. And no, Jody, you don't have to tell me because I freaking know that.
But Aiden's good with video games, though. For the most part.
That's what's funny, that they say that at least are bad enough for me.
Well, if you guys are longtime viewers of our channels,
we love gaming.
In our gaming channel, we haven't been on it in a while, but if you've ever watched any of our videos, you've noticed that sometimes we're not that good at games.
Especially Hello Neighbor.
Hello Neighbor was a scary way. We'd be screaming for no reason. We had so much fun, dude. And then the Super Sluggers.
No.
That's my favorite series.
You actually got pissed.
I show my true emotions in the game.
No, I mean in Hello Neighbor. You were trying to stack the boxes. And you get so mad.
I was getting pissed at the neighbor because he would come out. He'd be kicking them down. I'm like, no! I'm trying to build them, like stack them up.
Oh my God! Just watch that video, guys.
Check our gaming channel out. Subscribe to it if you haven't.
It's fucking hilarious.
I'd like to do more live streams.
Yes, on that, absolutely.
Yeah, whenever we get the chance.
Speaking of, oh my God, we forgot to. They already know, but
what did we forget?
We'll put it at the end. It's okay.
Oh, like how to find it? Yeah.
I know we forget something, guys. I knew it.
We were too jumpy tonight. We had to jump right into the into the topics at hand. It's all fine. It's either the beginning or the end. We show me the links. Show us the links.
Show us the links.
Yeah, Aiden does that's just perfect.
Thank you. Anyway, though, So,
all right, where were we at?
mood, yes. Anger, anxiety, or apprehension. All three of those, I guess. Especially anxiety.
Yeah.
Now, apprehension. Does that mean like not wanting to try new things? If that is the case, then absolutely that too. But yeah, I agree with all those. Actually, I kind of agree. That's someone who has it. Also,
I know. Is that like, does the anxiety kind of go with fixation? A little bit, like you're getting anxious about one, like you fixate on one thing and get anxious
I'll
about
explain
that?
that later.
Okay.
What that is. Also common. Depression. Yeah. Intense interest in a limited number of things, also known as special interests.
Oh, I know that for sure from Aiden.
Learning disability. Fuck off. Nightmares. Wow, you have to. Wow. Okay. Actually, I have something to say after that. Nightmares in there. Or sensitivity to sound. That, yes. But learning disability. I'll have you know that I probably am doing no offense. But in terms of knowing a wide range of topics like that, I'll probably be smarter than all of you guys combined. Like, I mean, not to be mean, but like, seriously.
All right.
Anyway, Jared, but seriously though, do you have any questions so far?
No.
Okay. So my specific kind, right?
Yeah.
So, Jared, you want to check this out or what? Read this one?
Yeah. So this is from autism.org.
Yeah.
Asperger's syndrome was introduced to the world by British psychiatrist Lorna Wing in the 1980s. The term derives from a 1944 study by Austrian pediatrician Hans Asperger, I guess. I want to say Asperger. It sounds like a very I don't know. Sounds like a German name. New evidence about his problematic history has recently been revealed and provoked a big debate.
You know what that is?
I don't know what is that.
He was a Nazi doctor.
Oh, well, okay. So
Yeah.
I was right with German name.
Yeah.
Anyways, many people who fit the profile for Asperger's syndrome are now being diagnosed with autistic spectrum disorder instead. Each person is different. Some people with a diagnosis of Asperger's syndrome may choose to keep using the term, while others may prefer to refer to themselves as autistic or on the autistic spectrum.
Yeah.
People with Asperger's syndrome don't have the learning disabilities that many autistic people have, but they have specific learning difficulties. They may have fewer problems with speech, but may still have difficulties with understanding and processing language.
Such as letting jokes fly over my head.
Yeah, and I will say...
Have you noticed that with me, Joe? Be honest. Have you noticed that with... When we've been having conversations, like,
Sometimes, yes. Now, we have a friend that has the same syndrome. We won't mention names on the podcast to call anybody out, but, we have a friend that is like that, and he struggled a lot with jokes as well. Yep. I'm sure he's better with them now.
Yeah.
But like back in school, like I would say something and then, say something like as a joke, and he would either that or he would take it like, for real. Like he would take it like I would meant it literally.
Yep,
yeah.
That's something that we do a lot.
Like it's like, I was like, dude, it's a joke.
Yeah.
Like not understanding obviously that he had that syndrome.
Yeah.
I didn't know that obviously in 5th grade, but
yeah.
Not until my mom explained it to me. I think actually later in 5th grade, I started learning about it. But
yeah.
Okay, some people with Asperger's syndrome say the world feels overwhelming, and this can cause them considerable anxiety. In particular, understanding and relating to other people and taking part in everyday family, school, work, and social life can be harder. Other people appear to know intuitively how to communicate and interact with each other, yet can also struggle to build rapport with people with Asperger's syndrome. People with Asperger's syndrome may wonder why they are different and feel their social differences mean people don't understand them.
I think about that, like, pretty clear cut. I mean, like...
Yeah. I mean, I think this kind of goes for anyone that has any other syndromes. It doesn't have to be autistic in any way.
Yeah.
But it goes with anyone that feels different than the rest of the populace.
Yeah.
If you feel different than the majority of people, like, why am I so different? And then you feel like you're left out. Mm-hmm. You know, like me in school, okay, I'm not a social butterfly, okay? You and me were pretty much the same back in school.
That's why we got along so well.
You know, we had our small group of friends.
We were reserved, mostly.
Mostly reserved, and, you know, we felt different. At least I did. I can't speak for you, but I certainly felt different.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because I felt like,
like on a lighter note, probably, but your interests were different than most people, and
yeah, like I'm back in school. You know, like a lot of people were playing different video games than I was. You know, I was playing Nintendo video games. You were playing them too.
Oh yeah,
but I was like
everyone else is like on the Call of Duty.
I was like Nintendo nerd, and I knew everything about all the Mario games, Kirby.
Dude, we would know that so much, and then you remember.
Yeah.
Oh, fun days.
But, like, you know, you would hear people talking, and they'd be talking about, like, did you play the new Call of Duty? I'm like, no.
I'm over here playing Art.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. Like,
yeah, it's like, okay, while you're playing the same shoot 'em up game that, you know, just basically a copy and paste, but with a, you know, different story.
New skin, basically.
Yeah, new skin. You know,
I'm over here playing a Mario Masterpiece.
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't start out kind of going off topic a little bit, but, like, you know, I was a little different because I never had an Xbox until, like, when did I get it? Maybe 2015?
Yeah.
2014? I can't remember when I got my first Xbox, but it was a 360.
I guess the first game we got was Madden. One of them?
One of them, yeah.
Okay. Yep.
But yeah,
football and football games are the same.
Now I have an Xbox One S, yes. and I have gotten more into shoot 'em up games over the years.
And The Walking Dead, but we'll get to that one right now, actually, guys.
Yeah. Might even do gaming video. We gotta just we'll just do that. That sounds like a fun time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So, anyways, but yeah, all that being said, you know, I definitely felt different being in school, and I felt kind of like outcast from the rest of the.
Outcast is the perfect term to
because I know that you've probably felt the same way, where it's like, you know, certain people you don't talk to. Because there's,
well, in my case, can't talk to.
And same, that's with me too. I kind of feel at the same time that since I was such a introvert in school, that I could not.
Well, for me, it's not so much introvert. It's just like I would literally not know what to say. Like I just don't like. That's why I didn't have a girlfriend in high school, because it was like, I literally cannot communicate well.
Yeah, it's like you got to
allow for that. So it's like,
right.
That's why I told you this before. That's why on that end of things, and I'll go off a little bit of a tangent about this really quick, like autism and dating. That's going to take a very special person to deal with all my crap. Like, let me tell you that right now.
Yeah.
So I just got to be patient, you know?
Yeah.
Wait for God to handle it, but.
Hey, you know, you and me are friends for a reason, dude.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right, so
some terms, right?
Yeah. So this is from WRTSfranchise.com.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that website.
I just looked up the
some definitions.
Just like a list of terms that you guys should know about in case you don't
Gotcha.
No.
Go ahead.
You want to do like research. So, neurotypical. Now, Jared, have you heard that word?
I think so, yeah.
Neurotypical. So, neurotypical is a term used in the autistic community as a label for people whose neurological development and state are consistent with what most people would perceive as normal, and their ability to process linguistic information and social cues. In simple terms, it describes those who are not on the spectrum.
So is that a newer term?
Yes.
Okay.
And the reason for that is that we'll go into this later, but it used to be back in like even as early as the early 2000s, they would saying that autism is something that should be cured and taken like eradicated, basically. But stuff has changed on that because new research has concluded that literally you cannot cure it because it was literally thousands.
Because you're born with
genes.
it.
Well, not only that, but there were literally thousands of different genes that correspond to autism. Literally, thousands of different genes. and different DNA sequences.
Kind of like if you have a virus that mutates. There's so many mutations, it's hard to make a cure.
Just as there's not one kind of cancer, there's not one kind of autism.
Right.
So
definitely.
yeah. So next term, special interests, my favorite term. Special interests are frequently developed by individuals with autism spectrum disorder, expressed as an intense focus on specific topics. So think hobby, but on steroids.
I know how this refers to you, certainly.
Yeah, tell me.
And I will say
say something that only I would probably like, or like something you can think of and that I don't.
Well, let me pull an example from today. I can take an example today of a special interest. Aiden, like you've been obsessing. What is your obsession of the day? This is like
well, that's one. Actually, that's not what a special interest is.
No, really,
that's not a special interest. Is something that you've had all your entire life. First of all,
okay.
If you were going to say Twin on Pilots, yes.
Yeah,
but that's just my favorite band. So special interest of mine. That other people probably find weird. War.
Yeah, that's one.
War and anarchism, studying of society.
Oh yeah,
that's a special interest of mine. So like,
I know you've brought that topic up multiple times during our podcasting career.
Yeah, so it's something that other people might find weird, which is really crazy because like it can literally be anything. Like someone that I talked to, those was insects. It's like okay. So basically, it's a hobby, but on steroids, basically.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. I love that so much. So scripting. I had to use this. I didn't know what this was until, like, just a couple of days ago, actually, funnily enough. But now that I know what it is, I'm like, oh, I've definitely used this before without knowing it. So scripting is the repetition of words. Excuse me, Mike. The repetition of words, phrases, intonation, or sounds of the speech of others. Sometimes taken from movies, but also sometimes taken from other sources, such as favorite books or something else, or something someone else has said. So preservation. No. Perseveration. Perseveration.
Yeah, there you go.
Not preservation. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that too. But
easily mistaken word there.
Yes, perseveration. Excuse me. Repeating or persisting with an action or behavior after the stimulus that prompted it has ceased. To perseverate is to become stuck on something and to not be able to mentally shift gears. That was today. That's what that's more.
So that's more like the focus, like you have something you focus on of the day.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes more sense because I have noticed that when we hang out, like
it's not on a certain topic. And
every single day it's something different.
Yeah.
You know, so if we're like, especially when we're trying to get ready for a podcast, I know this has been an issue. You know, it just takes a little bit of time to get you to move on to like, hey, Aiden.
Well, like I said, mentally shift.
Yeah, it's like, Aiden, like, I need you to shift gears here.
Yeah.
You know, over to this podcast. Like, Aiden was nice enough to get the notes and stuff all done before we even got together today.
Yeah. I think I did good research, right?
Yeah, I mean, but oftentimes...
no... Not to brag, but half the stuff I already knew, so I could just in and out like right then and there. But
most of the times when we get prepared for a podcast, we do it together.
Yeah,
most of the time, and Aiden will be over on his phone.
Literally 5 minutes to mentally switch my.
Yeah, like Aiden, whatever we're talking about, like if we're talking about, an apocalypse or a new video game, Aiden will keep looking up new videos, and it's like, Aiden, and I'm like trying to research, and you're like, dude, watch this. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to do this right now.
Yep.
Like you're distracting me. You know, like sometimes it's, sometimes
I need a little bit of a guidance. Guidance, I'll say.
And if you don't understand that, I'm certain like you and me have been friends for years.
So you know those little signs and
so like I know how to deal with that situation.
As a less of a better term, deal with.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have a better term for that.
But no, you're good.
Like, obviously, I know you well, so it's like I know how to try to help you shift gears. I just didn't have a name to put it with.
Now you.
Perseveration,
Yep.
So
this is when it starts getting kind of depressing. And I have some horror stories of this. So, and Joe, this is why I want you to kind of ask questions because this is the stuff no offense, but this is stuff that you don't know about and will never know about. I mean, to be honest. So, I mean, if you have questions, you can ask me. But,
Okay.
So, meltdowns are common with people who have autism and are typically not anger-infused. Instead, it is the body's way of reacting to a confusing or overstimulating situation. Meltdowns can be loud or they can be very quiet. And they're also shutdowns. So, they are often the result of situations with high demand in one of or a few of the following areas. Social situations that require a lot of thinking, a lack of sleep, very emotional situations, which is what hits me a lot of the time. Situations that are very active or physical. Now, do you have any questions about this? Fire away, like anything you want to ask. Remember, we're no censor channel, so.
I mean, I was just gonna ask, like, you've had meltdowns before, right? You've had them especially you called me at work before.
Yeah.
When you've had like overstimulation and
Yes.
that would kind of fall into the meltdowns, right?
Yes. Now I have to be. I have to tell you guys. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. I can better. So it used to be more when I was a kid. It was meltdowns, lashing out, like flashing my body around. But now it's more the opposite. Shut down. Well, I don't say anything. Well, I'm very, like, I stare blankly and I just, for lack of a better term, looks like I'm high. For lack of a better term. I mean.
You just look dazed.
Yeah.
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 Makes sense, yeah.
And if it gets bad, I'll start. Now, this one is a double-edged sword, this term right here. Stimming.
Okay.
So stimming is repetitive behavior such as the spinning of objects, walking back and forth, clapping, vocal echoes, which is something that I do, actually, or other repetitive actions that people with autism commonly partake in to alleviate the stresses of overstimulation. So when you see someone, like, do this, Jared, a lot,
yeah.
that's a form of stimming. If they're walking back and forth, like, if they're sitting down and trying to, that's stimming. For me, it's jumping. I'll jump sometimes if I'm feeling a little bit stressed. So it's a how do I describe this? Okay. It's a way for the body to physically relieve emotional stresses, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's like, it's also, too, I've noticed that you've done rocking back and forth and, you know, like your hand moving back like that.
Yeah.
I noticed you've done that before with, like, excitement.
Yep.
Over, like,
So
when you get overly excited.
That's why I said it's a double-edged sword, because it can also be good.
Right. I've noticed you've done that before.
It's any sort of intense emotional feeling. That's how we deal with it.
Yeah.
Whereas you would probably be able to deal with it normally. Normally is in, like, help me here. They just talk through it, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I can
maybe speak a little bit louder and clearer is how you would do something like that.
Like my voice, like I raise my voice when I'm excited.
Yeah, right.
Kind of thing.
Well, it has to be physical for me. It has to be like me, like. So the way I can describe this, right, when I'm stimming, let's do something good. Let's not get too depressed unless I have a story to tell you guys. So in a good sense, at work today, something really exciting happened. Mm-hmm. Just, you know, I did everything I was supposed to, and I got caught up, right? So it's literally like, a well of energy building up. So it's like it's happening right now. Like it's almost like it's so hard to describe because it's so unique. I
mean, like you get excited when we're like prepping for a podcast or you know, once you switch gears, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm doing it right now. Yeah.
Like Aiden, you know, when you find a topic that you're passionate about, like this one,
yeah.
You know, especially I can, you know, even when I'm editing the video later, I notice like you getting excited. I'm like, what in the world? I'm like, I didn't notice this as we were recording it until, you know, I go back and like Aiden's getting excited.
Yeah. So it's so that like I'll have to stim in order for it to If it's really intense, I have to stim in order to relieve that
that like built up excitement.
That
I guess
stressor, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it is a stressor, but it's a good stressor. If that makes sense.
Yeah. In that situation, yeah.
So there's another one, and then you can ask another question about this one if you want, because this one I don't expect you to know really either. So nonverbal. This is another term. And I've only started experiencing this recently.
Yeah. Explain a little bit on this.
So I'll tell about it first.
Okay,
But
go ahead.
nonverbal is a fairly common trait among people on the autism spectrum. Some folks can't talk at all, while for others, which would be me, this one, while for others it's more of a temporary state. It typically happens when they go into sensory overload from being overstimulated by our surroundings. It's not impossible to talk, it just becomes incredibly difficult.
So you were saying that you had a situation with this the other day.
I've started having.
You started having this.
Yeah.
Now, what?
I don't know why. I don't know.
You don't know why this kind of came out of nowhere?
No. For some, like it said earlier, some symptoms develop later in life.
Oh, okay.
So, maybe that's what this is. But anyway,
it's interesting.
So imagine this, Joe, right? So, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to imagine like a nonverbal situation.
Okay. Or overstimulation probably in general. So, okay. Cracker Barrel. I'll ask you a question, okay? What is it you hear normally at Cracker Barrel? If you can really, like, think about it and...
A lot of clanking dishes.
Yeah.
A lot of people yelling.
Okay.
Various things.
Okay. So the normal thing to expect to hear at a restaurant, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine that. Plus, things that most people don't hear.
Yeah.
Like hypersensitivity. So like the buzzing of the lights. Stuff way in the back that most people don't even hear. Like the water dripping. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And since your brain's different, because your brain, Jared, you're neurotypical. So your brain can take all that information, for lack of a better term, and it can categorize it and separate it.
So and not mash it all together is
Right.
what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas my brain, like you said, it mashes it all together into one cacophony of noise.
Yeah.
So when it becomes too much, and then on top of that, having people bark orders at me,
Yep.
non-verbal situation, shut down. Right away.
Because you already have all that noise, then you got the stuff that people don't notice normally.
Yeah.
And then you got people yelling at you.
Yeah. Yeah. I experience this every day for 8 hours. Every day at work.
So, like, at the end of your shift, man, you're just,
Oh my
like, you
God,
don't want
that's
to...
why my parents are telling me, like, dude, do something. I'm like, I literally cannot do anything. I'm so mentally exhausted.
Wait, can you
You guys
elaborate
don't
on
hear
that?
what... Just like one day I forgot to do the laundry or something, right?
Gotcha.
And I ended up getting it done. First of all, that's my responsibility, so that's not even an excuse.
Like, you mean your own
That's not
laundry
even-
kind of thing?
Yeah, that's not
Okay.
even an excuse to, like, that's not even an excuse. I should do that normally. That's not an excuse. But, like, for someone who, like, takes in so much input constantly, I'm being assaulted by...
So, like, you're saying, like...
And,
So, like, you're saying you get home from work and your mom is getting on your ass about not getting your laundry done.
not even getting on me, just asking me.
Oh, okay.
Like, very, very nicely, as a matter of fact.
But it's just, like, after all of you've been
Right,
through
it's
that
just
day, like,
more,
you're just...
more stimulation.
Yeah.
And I just want to go to
So-
sleep for like an hour or so.
So what's a good solution to help yourself in those
To
situations?
be honest, write it out.
Write it out? Is it also a good thing to,
Ride
like...
it out, like, ride the wave. kind
Gotcha.
of,
And
until it
also
calms
just
down.
kind of let yourself have a debrief for a while and just kind of, just
go to the freezer, breathe.
like just
cry if
breathe.
I need
Well,
to.
even when you get home, like you're still feeling stressed out, go home, like watch some TV, kind of do
Dead in my
de-stressing
brain.
symptom,
Dead in my brain, kind of.
de-stressing activities. Yeah.
Yes. So non-verbal. I'm sorry, I didn't explain what that meant. I'm sorry. So when it gets really bad, Jared, I stim, but I also can't talk. I literally cannot talk. Like, I'll go to say something and I'm like, words won't come out. And
Was
my
it
brain's
was
literally
it
screaming,
scary when it first
dude,
happened?
oh my gosh. I was like, why am I not saying anything? It's because I figured out why. It's because my brain was taking in so much information that it's like, okay, we're done talking today. Like, that's too much information. We can't handle it. We're not going to process more information for talking. So he'll just go dead.
So how long did it take you to snap out of it?
Couple hours.
Couple hours. When did this happen? Like before, after work, or just at your house?
During work.
During work.
No supplies there.
Okay, I was about to say if it just happened at your house, it'd have to be a lot of stress going on there.
No. My house is very chill. So thank God. My parents are very loving, obviously too. But so in those situations, right? Mm-hmm. It's not that I can't communicate. I use this.
So you like just
type.
put it in like your notes or something.
Like, for example, I'll be like, and then I'll show you. Like, that's how I have to talk.
Do you do that at work as well?
Yep.
Okay.
And I've told them that, and like that's like they know that now. So it's like, yeah.
Did it? Like, I know I'm asking the questions really early. I know we were supposed to ask it towards the end, but
No, we didn't have anything planned. It's fine.
Just kind of asking as I can think of the questions, because of course we wait till the end.
This is a free podcast. I've said this to you before we started.
Okay,
feel free to ask.
Because I know I'd forget the question if we waited till the end.
Right.
But what was I saying? So how long did it take McDonald's to understand your way of thinking?
Like autism in general, you're saying?
Yeah, like when you start from the point you started at McDonald's.
Not until I told them, funnily enough.
Okay, so how long did that? You've been there how long?
2 years.
2 years?
2.5 years, almost 3 years. Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
But
exactly.
no. And that's not their fault. I don't expect them to know unless I say something.
Right. That's, yeah.
So
you just got to let them know that,
and now they're looking for signs, which is good. So it's like they were able to tell when I go blank and my hands start like shaking like this. Like, hey, are you overstimulated? Are you going nonverbal? Are you?
So are they just like say, hey, dude, if you
need to take 5 minutes, yes.
Take 5 minutes, go ahead.
Hence why I want to do something that I told you that I was doing.
Yep. I remember you told me.
Training program for McDonald's. So that's pray for that, guys. I hope that goes well.
Yeah.
Because there needs to be more training on that, like for typical people like yourself.
Yeah.
That stuff. Professionally trained, At
least Satan's not coming out with a training, be less white, like Coca-Cola.
No, this is something that actually is a good cause.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
Yeah.
I hope.
Don't go Coca-Cola. No, I'm just kidding.
No. So, like, also the only way I can describe this is like, it's like, dude, I'm sure you've had this, where you're screaming at someone because you're just mad, right?
Yeah.
It's that, but it only exists in here. My brain is literally screaming, say something, but my mouth doesn't follow suit.
Oh, continuing with the nonverbal thing, yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like screaming, say something, but
there's like a disconnect between your mouth and your brain.
Well, it's more so, that, but also disconnecting information. Because like you said, like I've said before, I can't categorize everything like you can sometimes. It's harder for me to categorize things.
Yeah.
Separate sounds, separate information.
Gotcha.
To take kind of a funny example, but also, analogy, but good analogy that might make sense to you. You're a Windows 10 computer with the most updated information, right? I'm a Windows 98 computer running on floppy disks. And sometimes I crash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like just in general, when you got too many programs running
too many tabs open.
Yeah. That happens literally on any computer.
Yeah.
You have too many, there's a limit to every single processor. Yeah. And if you have too many programs open, like this Mac, is brand new and it can process a lot of information at one time. But if you have too many things open, it's gonna slow down. It may even like an app might crash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same kind of situation.
Yeah. That's why I've been using the term word processing. Yeah.
Yeah. So next one is comorbidity.
Wow. Oh,
which is
comorbidity.
Which is interesting because this word has been used how many times over the past 2 years? Dealing with
for mental
COVID.
illness in general too.
And dealing with COVID too.
Yeah. So the simultaneous presence of two chronic diseases or conditions in a patient. Many things are often comorbid with autism, including epilepsy and OCD, or obsessive compulsive disorder. For me, it's ADHD, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot that need to be said for that. So basically, two different, one disease that I don't even want to call it disease because it's like I don't know how people take that, but yeah, that's all you need to know, guys. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
So like we said, overstimulation, right? Overstimulation or OS occurs when there was
operating system.
Yeah. As we said before, kind of. Yeah. Occurs when there was too much of some external stimulus or stimuli for a person's brain to process and integrate effectively. This leads to an unpleasant sensation of being flooded and an impulse to escape the stimulus, or failing that to cry or scream or thrash about. Overstimulation is a form of pain. Or it's triggered by hypersensitive senses, and is it possible for the body to relax when it is subjected, or might at any moment be subjected to a sensory assault? Yeah. So, like, do you have any questions about, like, what it feels like, or, like, do you have any...
And that was what, from autismspectrumnews.org?
Yeah.
Just to give the site address there?
Yeah.
No, I really don't have any questions about overstimulation. I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
I mean, just like hearing the term, like I understand what that entails.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can definitely understand why it'd be a form of pain.
Yeah.
Because it's like, like here's the question that I have for you. So when you're overstimulated, say this happens at work.
Yeah. That's what happens mostly.
Do you feel like rolling up into a ball and just like...
That's happened once and only once.
Okay.
It was really bad.
That was like on one of the worst days that you've had?
I was in the freezer rolling, like literally like this. It got bad. But that hasn't happened since, thank God. But yeah.
Did they have like an employee like try to comfort you?
Nope.
No?
Nope. All by myself until I had to deal with it myself. Until
how long did it take to snap out of that one?
Way too long.
I know you weren't keeping track of time. Obviously,
no,
when that was...
way too long. Let me just say that. Yeah.
Wow.
It's also headaches. Causes headaches. So it's not only mental pain but physical as well.
I mean, that makes sense because it has to affect your brain.
Yeah.
All this is affecting your brain. I mean, it's affecting, if all these sounds are, you can't process
it,
decipher which sound is like, everything's getting mushed into one category.
Yeah.
And of course your bodily reaction is going to be a headache.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So funny enough, autism in the workplace, right?
Do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah.
Good.
So kind of jumping off what we were just talking about there.
Yeah.
For adults on the autism spectrum, searching for a job can be challenging. You might feel confident in your job skills, but intimidated by the recruitment and interview process, which is often a test of social skills. Well, that's true. Once you land a job, you may face additional challenges remaining employed while maintaining your sense of well-being. You might find yourself in uncomfortable environments that overload your senses, or end up working alongside people who misunderstand or even discriminate against you.
Yeah.
So have you had discrimination?
Nope. They're like a family to me.
Over at McDonald's?
Awesome. It's so awesome, dude. A lot better than my first place, which I told you about.
Oh, yeah, like over at Grinders, right?
Oh, my God. Don't even get me started, dude. Seriously. Yeah, that was a hellhole. Yeah, thank God I got out of there, though.
And they only worked you on the weekends, though, which is like, that was nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean...
I'm convinced it was because of what I had that they...
It was discrimination, you think?
Kind of. A little bit.
Like, they're like, well, let's not work him because, he's
he can't handle this, yeah.
Yeah, he can't handle the business and...
Yeah. I'm like, fine, screw you guys. Fine.
And I kind of think that I had some discrimination against me, but on a different,
you mean
on a different plane. No, not Giant Eagle at all, because really when I worked at Giant Eagle, the work environment was pretty good. I would say that the people at Giant Eagle, everyone there treated like family. They treated me like family, and, I would, talk to them all the time, and everyone there,
jokes, yeah.
Pretty much everyone there I enjoyed to be around.
Yeah.
But Cracker Barrel is a different ball game.
Well, job. Okay.
So, like, recently I gave them trouble because I do have two jobs.
Yes.
I work at a radio station part-time, and then so I had Cracker Barrel and WNIR.
Talk of Akron.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, I was...
Wow, I love you, by the way.
Oh, thanks, dude.
That, seriously.
But I work there twice a week, so I have Thursday and Sunday. but Sunday is an overnight shift, so I work there 8 hours.
Yep.
So I don't get out till about 8 a.m. or so on Sunday morning, and but Cracker Barrel had like, what was it, Easter? It was Easter Sunday, and I'm not available to work at Cracker Barrel on Sundays because of my second job. I mean, like, I don't want to think about this. Like, you don't want to get out from an 8-hour shift, not having any time to sleep. You get home, and then you got to be back at your other job at 3 o'clock. So you only get 8 to 3 not even 8 to 3, 8 to like maybe 2 to sleep.
Yeah.
That's what, like 5 hours of sleep?
That's not even that's like not even 7 hours. So
yeah, that's 5 hours. Like, even if like I get home by 8:30, so even less than 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
So maybe 4.5 hours if I'm lucky. And Cracker Barrel went ahead and scheduled me on that Sunday, and I'm like,
first of all, it's Easter.
Yeah, I'm like, that wasn't the huge problem, but well, it was and it wasn't. But
I would have had a cow over that.
Yeah, so I'm like, I went up to the manager there, and I'm like, hey, I can't work on Sunday because I told you guys I can't work Sundays. I'll work Saturday because we made an agreement that I obviously can't have the whole weekend off. So I'll give you a little bit of time on Saturday morning into the afternoon, but that's all I'm giving you because I have a secondary job on the weekend that I work overnight.
Yeah.
So
I can't work those two at once. It would be too.
Yeah, I don't want to work.
Even for you, overstimulating in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, like, that wears me down mentally and physically.
Yeah.
And
I can imagine.
Because, I mean, I've worked 2 jobs on Sunday before. I've had my shift where I would get out of Cracker Barrel, or I'd get out of WNR, come home, sleep for, maybe 5-6 hours, and then get up and get ready for Cracker Barrel, and I have no time to eat, no time to relax.
Hungry as heck, probably.
And I'm in a daze because I'm so tired. I feel like a zombie going into Cracker Barrel. And
has it been better for you now that you've...
Well, it certainly helped when I...
Let your concerns be known?
Well, when I got rid of working on Sunday, but that one Sunday when they're like, hey, it's...
We need you.
It's all hands on deck. You're required to work every holiday. And it's like, whoa, hold on. Okay, so I told you that I wouldn't be working Sunday. That's what we agreed to. And I said, how would you feel if you were, speaking to the manager here, how would you feel if you had to work 2 jobs on one day, especially on a holiday?
Yeah.
And I said, well, you're just going to have to find someone else because I'm not coming in. I told them I'm not coming in to work.
Pain in mind, keep in mind, I'm sorry, that these are the same people that Jerry knows what I'm talking about here that give you the whole crap about the snow. Yeah,
this is I don't know if I've talked about it on our program at all with you guys, but I know I've talked to Aiden, but like when we had those bad snowstorms, if you're from Northeast Ohio.
There was a really bad snowstorm.
At least 2 of them.
Yes.
Both almost like 12, 13 inches of snow each time. And my car I have a little Chevy Cruze. That thing got stuck in the snow that one night going home from Cracker Barrel, and I didn't get home till 2 a.m. I got out at like 11.
Yeah.
That's bad.
4 hours to get home. Yeah.
But it should have only taken 20 minutes, but whatever. Anyways, so it was really irritating, and it's like I was about ready to quit. I said, well, okay, I'm not coming in tomorrow, so I don't care. I understand that you guys have a rule with, everyone needs to work on holidays, but I checked your the schedule back there, and there was people that weren't scheduled on that holiday.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
funny.
interesting.
Yeah.
So you schedule me, who works 2 jobs, and you don't schedule this other person. What's their excuse?
Yep.
I want to know what does it take to not work on a holiday?
Yes.
I want to know. So,
and plus it's putting people's lives in danger, first of all.
But see,
having them drive on dangerous roads and...
Yeah.
That day I was working, which was fine because it was a lot closer where I work, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I can actually get there. But there were cars spinning out on our drive-thru, like literally.
I don't know why people don't just stay home.
Yeah.
Like, if I had the option, like...
I'm cooking food, all I hear on the speaker... I'm like, what the fuck is going on? We're just having a ball back because we're laughing at the people trying to pull in the freaking drive-thru because it's like...
Why? You can skip McDonald's for one day, people. Come on.
Q, get out of my lane. My gosh, like
the one person I saw that video on Facebook though about almost hit that one car and then it drove off.
We had multiple
and the lady got out and was like, hey. I don't know if you saw that one.
No, I haven't seen that.
That was at your McDonald's.
That was at mine?
Yeah. It was hit and it drove up on the curb over to the second order lane and it sped off. This was like several months
serious?
ago. I think.
Wait a minute. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yes, I looked at the window and I saw it.
Were you there when that happened?
And then she backed up
and then it drove over the curb. The lady was like, "Hey,
yes,
you hit my car." It was like, "Hey, you hit my car. Stop. We gotta call the police." And they're like, "Nope."
It wasn't like a yellow.
Nope.
It was like
drove off.
It wasn't like a yellow car or something. I think.
I don't remember the color, but it was like an SUV. And I don't know.
Yes.
I think they got the license plate. I would hope. But geez, that was
only at McDonald's.
Because I saw the video on Facebook. It popped up on my feed. I'm like, oh my God, this is the Hartville McDonald's.
Yeah, that's Aiden's place. That's Aiden's crib.
Yeah, that's Aiden's hangout place.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Anyways, all that being said,
yeah, that's that's our life right now, guys. Fun stuff.
Chaotic it is.
Oh yeah.
Okay, see, where are we at?
So we were done with the workplace one.
Okay, so should there be a cure?
So for the article, I ask you that, Joe. That's in question.
Like as a question, should there be a cure?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Should there be a cure, in your opinion?
Well, I know what, if you ask a scientist or someone that deals with in medicine, specifically, not just any scientist. Because if you ask a climate scientist, they don't qualify. But if you ask a pharmacist,
I think they know it all.
Because well, first off, every single solution for big pharma is okay. Let's throw out some more medicine. That'll fix it.
Yep. Like a new pill or a new vaccine,
it's like okay, well you have autism. All right, here, take this pill. You have.
What they did with me.
You have chronic.
Cancer.
You have some other chronic disease. Here you go, but here's all these side effects too with it.
Right.
Guys, literally big pharma is just out there making money. That's what they did with the COVID vaccine, right? I don't
think we get political on this podcast, but here we go. Okay. Dude, I'm gonna be honest.
Well, we didn't really talk about big pharma.
Well, that's a topic that we can discuss. But I helped you out a little bit in this podcast. I snuck that in there for you.
Are you just trying to get me to are you trying to trigger me?
No, I'm trying to get because I know how you like to talk about political things in our podcast. That's what we focus on. So I decided to kind of include it in you so you can.
So you knew what makes me tick.
No, I'm not trying to make you mad. I was like,
no, you just know what I'm passionate about is what I'm trying to say. Not something that makes me mad.
Right, but keep politics out of it though. On the research. That is still ongoing, mind you, and it always will be, in my opinion.
I just know that...
Should there be a cure?
Obviously, it would be nice if there was a miracle cure. I'm sure,
oh, yeah.
I'm sure you would want to take, whatever medicine that Big Pharma throws out, but...
But would I?
Well, it depends. I mean, if it was...
I'll explain to you in a second, but...
I mean, if it was, something that was a guaranteed, but... All it is they're trying to get you to, I'm not going to go deep into this now, but all they're trying to do is get you hooked on, taking the drug.
Oxycontin?
Not like an addictive, like weed or something.
No, but some Adderall. Which is what they prescribed me.
Yeah.
When this was basically controlling my life, they gave me Adderall.
Right.
And that... Which is funny considering that people take that for college.
Yeah.
It's like the study drug. Okay, so I'll read this really quick. So should there be a cure? And this is from bigthink.com. While there are constant scientific efforts to find a cure for autism, some people do not feel a cure is necessary. In fact, they see neurodiversity as a new civil rights movement. To its proponents, neurodiversity sees neurological differences like autism as genetic and, quote, the result of normal, natural variation in the human genome, end quote. As said John Robeson, a writer on autism issues in Psychology Today. Should society view such a large group of people as disabled, or should it see them merely as different and find a non-judgmental non-judgmental path towards incorporating folks on the spectrum? This should include allocating budget resources going to what could be unnecessary medical research towards improving the lives of those who are diagnosed as neurologically diverse. As Julia Bascom of the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network told the Daily Beast, quote, "The idea of a cure for autism doesn't make sense. Autism isn't a disease or an injury. It's a neurodevelopmental disability that shapes our brains differently. If I can't talk, does it make sense to look for a pill for that? Or should my speech therapist help me learn how to type or sign instead? Is flapping my hands or intensively and obsessively loving something, quote, weird, or wanting to be by myself the psychological equivalent of diabetes, or is it a natural and beautiful part of human diversity?" One criticism of the autistic rights movement stems from the perception that it is being led by high-functioning autistic people like those with Asperger's syndrome.
Yep.
Like me. While they may exhibit certain symptoms on the spectrum, many with Asperger's are able to lead lives similar to a non-autistic person and find the idea that they need to be cured offensive. But to people on the low-functioning end of the spectrum, this approach might prove detrimental, as it can prevent or delay treatments that they need and want. While differences in race or sexual orientation could cause societal oppression, they are not physically disabling a person in everyday life like neurological issues, and that's a big one. That's the local ends. Keep that in mind, guys, because there's all this, and this is what makes me mad. There's all this talk about LGBTQ rights and they'll be discriminated against, but keep in mind, though, it is not physically disabling a person. And that is what pisses me off about the whole LGBTQ thing, is because, okay, sure, fine, you have a different orientation. That is not physically debilitating to you. Makes me so mad that they get more treatment than we do. They get more limelight than we do.
When there's more people that are dealing with autism than...
Not only that, but it's actually an issue.
Yeah. Well, also more people are affected by this.
Mm-hmm. 1 in 44 children.
Not just based off of what you identify as.
What? Joe, what do you got to say about that? Sorry for getting mad about that, guys, but it's like...
No, go ahead, dude. I mean, this is something that, isn't talked about enough, and I definitely agree with you on that. Like, it's something that actually matters. Mm-hmm. I'm sure everyone has their own, passions and all that, but like something seriously that affects people, physically and mentally.
Yes.
As autism does.
Yes.
Like, this is something that needs to be looked at more.
Yes.
And
stop focusing on Abraham X. Kendi and his stupid anti-racism bullshit.
Check out our CRT podcast
for that, yes. And stop focusing on this. Like, guys, I can't tell you how hard it is every day. Like, just with all these noises and all this stimulation that I constantly receive on a daily basis. Even now, this room's a lot quieter, but I'm noticing stuff right now that you're probably not even hearing.
Like what?
Like
they're freaking me out.
like little things in the microphone, stuff in the background and stuff, but like...
Oh, okay.
Don't worry, that's not because it's one. It's just my brain's really perceptive, but no, and like, it's just stuff like that it's like,
Sorry, am I too close to the mic?
No.
Okay.
Dude, no, I'm just saying it's like, no, this is something you can't stop, obviously. Anyway, though, it's like... It just, again, makes me mad that, like, again, back to our last podcast, actually our very last podcast that we literally just made. Mm-hmm. I know that trans people and the LGBTQ community, all that wonderful stuff, they feel that they are being oppressed, and
that they're put upon.
Yes, and I agree with that to some extent. But, like, you chose that path, first of all. Do you think that we chose this? To have this happen to us?
You didn't say, I identify as autistic. Like, you don't just say that.
Right.
You can't just identify as being autistic if you are not autistic.
Right.
Like, it's something that is genetic.
Yeah.
Yep. It's an actual genetic issue,
yeah.
I guess, if you look at it as that.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts then on
The cure?
Yeah, like, do you think there should be? Or do you think there...
For the low functioning end, absolutely, yes.
Because it's debilitating for them, right? But for you, what... I
have a question for you, Jared.
Okay.
Imagine if I was cured. Like, really think about this. Imagine if all my autism was gone. Like, literally all of it.
I don't think I know who you are anymore, to be honest.
That's the point.
Because that makes you who you are.
That's my personality, yes.
Yeah.
If I had that taken away from me, that would kind of freak you out a little bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because I would be, like, talking to a different person.
Yep.
I would think, but...
Yep. Absolutely.
But if there was a cure for autism in...
Which I hope that there is, first of all. For the...
Like some treat...
for the debilitating autism, absolutely, I hope that there is.
Guys, I think that when you're talking about a cure, I don't think Big Pharma is going to have much of a say in this.
This is going to have...
This is something
going to require a worldwide group of people researching constantly to...
And also, I think it's more of a treatment than a medical, like, pill that you would take.
That's not
you know what I mean?
That's not like COVID, where there's a vaccine for it. And
like, imagine this. I think it's something like... Because, Aiden, hold on. I think it's going to be something like a treatment with your brain. So, like, basically, you would be going into, like, a lab of some kind, and they would be doing, like, some sort of therapy for your brain that would affect...
Or...
What?
Elon Musk, his Neuralink.
Oh, yeah, I remember you were saying
his
something about
brain
that.
implant.
Yeah.
It's already helping people that are...
You mentioned something about that a while back, didn't you?
Supposed to start human trials this year.
Really? Man, what can this man... If
I'm able to...
There's nothing this man can't do.
Dude, if I'm able to have this stopped... Like, can you imagine, dude? All the bad stuff, and my brain is gone. That'd be absolutely incredible. Like... able to talk normally, and hence why I've always liked this guy. Like, I know many people are jumping on the bandwagon because of Twitter, but, like, this is the kind of stuff that you guys don't talk about, that he does. They're only using it right now for things like curing paralysis, and... Well, not curing paralysis, but, like, making them able to, like, move cursors with their brains and stuff, and that kind of stuff. Like, it's a brain interface, basically, is what it is.
Gotcha.
But if the tech... advances, which I'm absolutely certain it will, because Musk is a genius.
Yeah.
This. Like, whoa. Like, that's going to be amazing. Like.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is just, as we talked about in our last podcast about Musk buying Twitter, I mean, that's one thing for him to buy Twitter, and that's a great thing. He's doing it.
Yes.
But also, this man is doing a lot for society.
Yeah,
as a whole, he's really trying to make America better, and
the world
not only America but the world.
Yeah,
because he, for instance, he sent his
Starlink up to help Ukraine out with the war
and for their internet. Yeah.
Yep.
Like, he's really doing the world a favor. And people on the left will talk about how, him being a billionaire is a bad thing because he has a lot of money. And that's about as far as they go in that argument.
That's all they can go.
That's all they can go. But they don't look at the fact that he has a lot of money. Yes, I agree with that.
There's a reason, though, for that.
But he also earned all that money. And
second of all, he was blessed with it.
And he also is helping people with that money.
God's given him a purpose with that money.
Yeah, he's not just, and congratulations to any people that have, made a career out of the whatever they wish to do and made a lot of money, God bless you, for making all that money.
You don't get that money by just sitting on your ass, first of all. You work hard for that.
Yeah, it wasn't just given to him.
He said that first of all, he has what I have. First of all, which makes it ultra inspiring, first of all. But secondly, he said that there were nights when he first formed Tesla stuff where he had to sleep underneath his desk. Because he was just trying to make this dream a reality, and it was like all his plans he was. It's just like, that's the kind of work that they don't see. These people don't see.
Yeah.
Hence why he's the richest man in the world. Like, there's reason for that. You don't get there by not working hard.
All the people that complain about him being successful are the people that don't want to put the work in to be successful like him.
And to all the people that said that he got that money from, like, an inheritance, he was born in South Africa, first of all. Which, I mean, I don't mean to be, like, you know, stereotypical, but I'm kind of certain that, like, people from those countries, they don't get a lot.
They aren't as well off as people here in America.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So how has, now kind of going on into the question,
Yeah.
with just rounding out the podcast with questions, I guess.
Yeah. Literally.
Oh, actually,
well, uncensored.
Hold on. Before we get into that,
yes.
I have something
Yes.
I wanted to mention earlier, but it didn't really make sense to bring it up where we're at. But I believe a lot of this research in general on autism is based off of males.
Something to say about that. You know why?
Why?
Autism is 4 times as prevalent in males than females. That's been proven. Now, I don't know if that's because, and I think I know what you're going to say, and I think I'm ahead of you with this. Is there some sort of correlation between male genetics and autism? That is something that is still currently being researched.
Well, I believe there is...
You don't have a definitive answer on that yet.
I believe there's... Well, here's the problem. A lot of young boys are being diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 10 years old.
Yes.
Or something like that in school,
because they're hyperactive
boys learn differently than girls do.
Yep,
that's
just
proven.
how it is. That's how it is.
Just how it is. It's a genetic thing. You know, I mean,
difference.
And I think that kind of comes from you know, like men being the hunters and gatherers.
It's that evolutionary, for lack of a better term, evolutionary.
Yeah, like
carried over from.
It's different because most girls can sit in a classroom and sit still and learn that way, but boys cannot. That's just, boys are not
together on us, kind of.
Yeah, it's like we're not made for sitting at a desk and just learning that way.
That's why I get, even though it's overstimulated at work, I get gratitude out of what I do. Like truly, I do. Because I'm on my feet and I use my energy and I know that I'm, you know.
Like, you know, I mean, for instance, I can find an example of that, like in a more like adult kind of thing. You know, there's not many women in the construction industry, for example,
right? Because
a lot of women don't want to do anything with physical labor in construction. They'd rather, you know, work in an office setting or be accountants, for example. That's just one, but you know, working at computers in general, or just, you know, they're not really, it's not really a women-led industry, you know? Mm-hmm. And
kind of construction, you mean, isn't it?
Yeah, really? Construction, for instance. You know, so I think that's kind of a prime example of why I think some of the boys, you know, are diagnosed with ADHD at such a young age. And that could be a false diagnosis because they just say, oh, why do boys have to be so different? Why can't they just sit at the desk like all the girls do and learn?
Could that just be because they're 10-year-old boys and, you know, just hyperactive?
Yeah, it could just be that they aren't.
That's like, just think logically here.
You know, it isn't made for, you know, that kind of setting is not made for boys.
That's why, in my opinion, you shouldn't diagnose things like ADHD when you're so young. You should wait till you're like 23, my age, and if you're still that hyperactive, like, oh, he should have passed that stage in his life.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Right.
You agree, or like...
No, I agree with you. I feel like they jumped the gun a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and I've heard this before, and my girlfriend has talked about this extensively with me. This is a new thing. They're starting to research more into girls with autism.
Good.
Because they realize that autism manifests differently in women than it does males. And all this research that you did, and this isn't on you at all, Aiden, because this is the industry itself.
This is my perspective on how I perceive things, first of all.
All of this research that you put up here is about male autism.
Yep.
This has literally...
Absolutely.
Like, women don't just, you know, go like... you see all these girls don't go, ooh, get all excited like that. That's like something more of like what a male reaction with autism.
So you're saying that's interesting.
I'm saying that there's a whole field they don't know about with girls in autism. Yeah.
So they choose not to go into that.
Because they
don't know why.
They focused on male autism, and they said, oh, well.
That's easy to spot, too, first of all.
So basically, what they were saying before is that mostly males have autism. Girls
is that
don't.
The case, though?
But they were going off of their symptoms.
First, not only symptoms, but bias.
Yeah.
Because the symptoms show themselves more in males than females.
So basically, you were saying that you get overstimulated, and you tend to stim,
jump, all that stuff. Yeah, yep.
So
that's more noticeable.
You do that.
That's more noticeable.
Yeah, more noticeable. And girls have a way of hiding. I heard this from a study.
So what you're saying is they shut down more rather than meltdown.
Right.
Yep.
There's different symptoms for autism in girls than there are guys. That's why.
So hence why it's a spectrum, first of all.
That's why they're like, okay, well, girls aren't having, this certain reaction with autism, so that must mean they don't have it, is basically what they're saying. They're saying, they flat out don't have it.
They show it differently. What is they're forgetting one of the most basic things about autism. It's It's a spectrum.
Yeah.
It's right there in the name.
Mm-hmm.
It means more than just symptoms.
Yeah. But, and I think there's going to be more research over the next several years.
Yes.
With
decades.
Yeah, with women dealing with autism.
Yes.
Because I believe that, from what my girlfriend said, that there is symptoms that women do have autism, but it manifests differently.
Such as, if you have any...
I don't have good examples like that. It's more like restrained, like we just said. So
guys,
it's not...
fire off in the comments
if you guys know more about
this than we do.
Girls with autism, then,
Fire away.
Show us the links.
Right. Research anything. I'm sorry, guys. I should have done a better research then.
It's not your fault, dude, because literally this is new. This is newer information.
Yeah.
Most of this has been established for several, years now.
Decades even.
Even. I mean, it's weird, but back when they first started looking into autism as an actual syndrome or disease, however they define it, they only looked at boys.
Yeah.
With it.
They still do tend to.
Yeah. Which is weird because it's like, okay, well, women are affected by it. But
it was yeah. It manifests differently. Right?
It manifests differently.
Yeah.
And they just don't know much about it right now. So that's why they can't diagnose. It's harder to diagnose girls with autism because they're using your symptoms as a diagnosis for girls. But that
also my gender.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, dude, say you have certain rules that you go by.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's hard to fit a girl into that mold because guys have different symptoms.
Some more outward.
Yeah. So it'd be like, okay, well, she's not really, flailing her arms back and forth and she's not doing any of that. So obviously she doesn't have autism. Not necessarily.
Yeah.
She could have autism, but it manifests differently.
Yep.
So
that really does. I agree with you fully, Joe. There really does need to be better research into that. I didn't even think about that. I feel like I have to apologize, guys, because I should have led the charge on that, and
that's all right,
for both of us. And I don't. Yeah,
and I think
a mistake though. So.
I think that information is harder to come by because it's so new. You know.
Yeah.
I think actually we learned about it off of TikTok. Ironically, they were like some girls were posting some videos of like how they found out they had autism, and they were like showing like what they were comparing how a guy. It's kind of funny. They were showing, it was kind of a funny video. They were showing how a girl reacts in an autistic way, and then they're showing a guy, and the guy's going nuts.
Yep.
It's kind of funny.
Yep. So what you're saying is basically how guys versus girls react normally.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just it was kind of funny, guys.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I'm sure more research is going to come out in the coming years.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they're looking into it because that's a whole like field they haven't explored yet.
They can open up. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that also could help with finding a cure. Maybe, you know,
if I ever find a wife, maybe. Yeah. Somebody go into together. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. So,
any other question you have for me? Like any
let's
dive into this.
So a couple more questions maybe. But you know, how has this affected you in a general sense in school?
School.
Like, cuz I know that school is a huge
Yes. It was a huge part of my life. Like,
huge part of your life, yeah.
For a decade of it. So.
Yeah. But how has this affected you in your learning capabilities and like your day-to-day life, I guess?
So first of all, school, it's weird because it wasn't necessarily hard, but it was different because, well, let me ask you first, Jode. How did your school day go back at Lake? How did it go normally? For you?
Just go to class and sit down and, you know, do assignments and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a person, you know, I will admit I have a hard time sitting still for long periods of time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I think every guy kind of deals with that.
Yeah.
That's not an autistic only thing.
That's not autistically exclusive.
Yeah. Good way of putting it. But I think every guy kind of deals with that. Like, that's why, you know, boys have such a hard time with sitting still in school.
Yeah. Like, back to what we were talking about. If you want to classify ADHD, that then you could just classify the whole society.
Yeah, basically all boys have ADHD. Right. Okay, well,
right.
You know,
right.
I think a lot of people are diagnosed incorrectly.
Prematurely.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah. Well, for me, my point in asking that was I am sure that I had more resource classes than you. Would you agree with that or not agree with that?
Are you talking about the classes where it's like a small group?
Yep.
Smaller group?
Yep.
And yeah.
Not as much noise. They
call it the slow learner class, which is kind of an annoying term.
Well, the information's really laid out for you.
Yeah. Or they take longer to explain the topics, I guess. They don't blow through it as fast,
and in my case, I don't know about you, but in my case, they give you longer time on tests. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was in the, if you want to call it the slower learner math class.
Yeah.
Because
Mr. Parker.
Yeah, Mr. Parker. Shout out to you, man. Like,
yeah, seriously, some of the funniest times I've ever had in school.
Yeah, and ironically, he made math really fun, you know. For how much I hated math growing up, just because I was absolutely horrible
at it. The teachers at Lake were awesome. Awesome.
I mean, they really helped a lot, and
it's probably changed a lot over the years.
Yeah.
I've been there, but...
Oh, I mean, the school's, like, completely different.
Yeah.
The Commons is still pretty much the same, except they kind of went for a redesign a little bit for the Commons, but other than that, it's the same.
Yeah.
For the Commons area.
Yeah.
Other than that, the whole school is pretty much different.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, it's, I
will say this. The thing in school that I really struggled with was, like, funnily enough, the simpler problems.
Like you would overthink?
Yeah. The more complex stuff I have no problem with, but
yeah,
the simpler stuff I'm like, what am I supposed to do here?
Yeah. Like you just think, oh, there's got to be more to...
Also, oh my gosh, the final exams, that was horrible.
Yeah, because well, at least, you know, it's always...
Day off for normal people, first of all.
It's hard to sit still.
Yeah.
For like an hour, like 2-hour exam.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm done with exams, by the way. Like, even more for me because, like, I went through college, so...
College, Kent State!
Like, oh my God, dude.
Mask Central.
Yep. Mask crazy there. Still are. As of May 10th.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're still requiring masks in classrooms. They finally lifted it on residential areas, but classes are still required to wear masks. So,
oh my gosh,
that's such so
BS.
Dumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, but but yeah, exams are hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those stupid ACTs. I freaking hate them so much.
And you had oh, what's her? Who's your aide?
Mrs. Gall.
Mrs. Gall. Yeah.
Yep.
She lives right around the corner from me.
Yeah.
We
Nice
pass
lady.
her all the time. Yeah.
Nice lady. And that was one of the other things that I can say. I'd have an aide
Yeah.
in school.
And I'm sure she helped a lot.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes she got annoyed with you.
Which is fine.
But you know,
I understand that. Yeah. No. Someone that's trained.
Just trying to get you on track, and
yeah. No, those are good times. Those are really.
and then
good
you and me
times.
goofing off in class doesn't help either. Like us, just like it's like aiding Jared.
The foxhole.
Mr. Parker had so much fun with you in class. Like
he kind of egged it on too a little bit. Sometimes it's kind of funny.
Mrs. Gall was just rolling her eyes half the time in class, like because you would Mr. Parker would egg you on, and
Yes.
then once you started, you wouldn't stop. Like, you know, you get fixated on that one topic, and then you
on jokes in general, I just thought jokes.
you won't stop laughing.
Oh my god! And then you're not helping.
But then the rest of the classmates, yeah, I know. I'm just laughing the whole
Your
time.
face is red, about to fall out of your freaking chair.
And the rest of the classmates don't help either. They're getting in on this too. By the way, we had a good group.
Yes, we did. Dude, the fucking goat.
Oh yeah,
In the courtyard.
that was funny.
Oh my gosh.
Sometimes I miss those days though.
Yes.
I will say, like, you know, as a whole, I don't miss school, but I do miss some of
Those good times.
some of the times we had. A lot of good memories.
Yes.
A lot of bad ones too.
Yes.
But I will say there was a lot of bad memories in school.
Yes.
I will say it was not just
Specifically, the three of us sitting down. Something. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, bonds of friendship are forged in that though. So
yeah.
seriously.
That's when you find like who's really your friend,
Yeah.
especially after school.
Yeah.
Like after you graduated, like you and me, like,
Yeah.
you know, we've stayed friends all these years, and
Oh yeah.
you know, we still,
It's called dedication and putting in effort.
yeah, I still have the same group of friends that I still have contact with everybody. Nathan, cousin / friend,
Yeah.
you know, and you, and then Alex,
Yeah.
you know, still have all you guys, which I'm very blessed to have you guys still in my life, you know.
Oh yeah.
'cause-
Absolutely.
and, you know, maybe I don't message people as much as I should and hang out with, you know, and that's on me.
Yeah.
I'll take the blame for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm just not good at. I'm just not good at communicating with people. Like that's just who I am. Like I'll say that much right now.
I will say, though, you're better at sending messages out and staying in contact than I feel like I am.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like, you know, I get so busy and then I forget to message.
Yeah.
And you're busy as well, and you still remember to message, so I need to get better at that as a friend.
No, dude, you're good. You're good. It's just, hey, life sucks.
Yeah.
So, Jared, don't be afraid to get into the weeds. With like another question that you might have, like,
Oh, I thought we were going down a different route there.
no, because you said we had a couple questions.
Don't be afraid to get into the weed. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good.
I don't
save it
smoke
for
that
that.
stuff.
No.
I don't smoke the wacky tobacco. Sorry, continue.
Well, I was asking you, like, so I entered school, what that was like.
And maybe lastly, if I can't think of anything else, how was it? I know maybe not necessarily, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not really an autism question, but I know that you were dealing with a lot of stuff like depression and stuff after school ended. I know we've talked about this before off air.
Yes.
I don't know if you feel like talking more about that. a little bit,
yeah,
you know,
sure.
like, just like, I know that you were like, after school ended, it was a huge difference in like your daily life, and,
Yes.
you didn't see us as often.
Yes.
So how did that affect you?
So, funnily enough, thank you for asking that. I was hoping you'd actually ask a question like that. Funnily enough, what do you think one of the comorbidities of autism is? Specifically mine.
Depression?
Yes. So there's that to deal with.
And that was brought to the forefront with being out of school.
And especially during the lockdown.
Oh, yeah, that didn't help. See our lockdown podcast, guys.
Yes,
that was interesting.
God, that was a horrible time.
Although as you and me.
Well, we did, but we didn't release it, first of all.
Huh?
We didn't. So we had tried to release a lockdown podcast during lockdown. We were at our homes, separate homes, but it wouldn't upload for some reason.
Yeah.
It was over Zoom or whatever, and it was just a whole mess. We were like, let's just scrap it. We don't want to put out content that's
crappy.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, though, so yes, I am comfortable talking about this, Jared. So,
okay,
like I said, I want to be real with you guys. So, I think the reason why was, first of all, because it's a comorbid symptom. So it's brain stuff. Genetics,
Yeah.
But also, think about this, Jared, okay? What is it that autistic people love, normally? Really think. And school relates to this. What do you think autistic people love?
Well, like being busy, like not sitting still.
Close. And I was actually told this by my therapist, which is kind of like, this makes sense. Routine.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Routine. Every morning, I get up at 6 a.m. I have breakfast. I go downstairs, get my backpack on. I've kind of entered that now with work, which is why my deficiency's kind of subsided. But anyway, back to what I was saying.
Yeah, sorry.
Get on the bus. Have my classes. Have lunch precisely at whatever time I did with you guys. Have the same thing for lunch every day. Go back. Have more fun with you guys, with my teachers, goof off, and then ride the bus and go home for the day.
Yeah.
12 years of doing that, especially for someone that's autistic who loves routine. That's dug into you. And then after graduation, to have that taken out or taken away from you. You have to be like, oh, this isn't a part of my life anymore. What do I do now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think, humans are naturally.
Maybe that's why. We're not going to name names, but maybe that's why one of our friends is still struggling with things.
Yeah.
That's the reason I can think of.
Well, naturally, humans are a routine-based creature.
Yeah.
You have when you're thrown out of your routine, it's really weird.
Yeah.
Like for instance, if I get up every morning, and if I have a different set of routines for a work day and a relaxing day.
Yep.
So on my relaxing day, I'll get up, 10 o'clock or so, grab a cup of coffee, sit down, maybe watch the news.
Yep.
Or watch a TV show.
Yeah.
And kind of try to wake up because, it's hard to just, I'm just so groggy without my coffee.
Yes.
Yes. But like, say for instance, now coffee is still in my routine no matter if I'm going to work or I'm staying home.
Cannot live without it.
Oh yeah. But like, if I can't get my coffee before I leave the house, it's going to be a crappy day. I will say that.
Yes.
My routine is thrown out of whack. Just that one cup of coffee not being in my life for that day
makes all the difference.
Yeah. I mean, it really makes the difference between a good day and a bad day.
Yep.
Like for instance,
I always have an ice, and this is why excuse me. This is why, even though the interview process is hard, I enjoy work.
Yeah. Well, like if I forget my coffee at the house and I'm like bringing in a to-go cup, sometimes I'll pour my coffee in a to-go cup and I'll leave it right on the counter.
Yep.
And I'm already out the door driving. I'm like, oh crap. I look down at the cup holder and it's not there.
Got to go back in and get it.
Or I don't have time. Or I'm already like 30 minutes away from, my house. And it's like, well, obviously I can't go back because I'm going to be late to wherever I'm going, whether that be work or
hanging out with someone,
hanging out with someone or something. It's like, oh,
shoot.
Yeah, it's just after that, it's like, oh my, I got to figure out how to get a cup of coffee somewhere because I can't go home.
Fun.
Yeah, if I'm lucky, because not all the time can I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that being said, though, yes, I think even more so for me, routine.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it's more than just a thing that I do every day. For me, it's almost like for autistic people, routine is like a fix of like a fixed point of sanity.
Yeah.
It's like something that they have control over.
So
with all the overstimulation that we always go through and all these things that we take in, that's the one thing that we can control. And if any little thing gets thrown off, we don't feel in control anymore. And when we don't feel in control, that's when stuff starts to go bad.
So does that mess you up? Like, say, if you go on vacation and you don't have a normal routine? Like, say, if your family goes to Florida or something?
I develop one extremely quickly to save that garbage from happening.
Okay. So you, like, switch to a different routine? Yeah.
I try to, but no. Probably because it's environmental factors, too, so that plays a part in it, obviously.
Gotcha.
But no, like, it's for us, it's more of like a fix. For you, routine is probably just like something you do every day. But for me, it's like a fixed point of sanity and something that one of the only things that I can control.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And if that gets thrown off, it's like, oh shoot, I'm not in control right now. You know?
Yeah. You feel like you're lost without it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you? Am I crazy? Is that?
No, it makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's all the questions I have.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to round out with before we leave?
I actually have some questions for you. So, one main question, rather. What can I do to, first of all, be a better friend to you when I'm feeling like overstimulated or when I'm maybe saying something that I'm not picking up on, it's not a good social cue, or something that's like, normal, I guess you could say. Because I know that there's probably a lot that you notice that you just don't tell me, because it's just like how I am.
What, you're asking, like, how can you...
Yeah, not fix, but like...
Do better?
Yeah. Basically.
I don't know. I mean, some things like just trying to switching gears faster.
Yeah,
would be probably the only thing that I would probably work on.
Okay.
Just being able to. I know, like, you and me like to goof off for a while before we start researching, and that's fun. And then I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, I shouldn't have showed you that video, because now you're gonna now you're gonna get fixated on that.
7-8.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I start like, is that for here to go? And they're like, oh,
don't worry, it's all part of the job.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have, gave you that idea, because then it's hard to switch gears to
Perception.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I gotcha.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think that pretty much rounds that out. I hope that gave you guys some more insight into what this is actually like for us, and like,
for sure,
try to beat some stigma, that surrounds it. And yeah,
and also kind of look to see, the research that comes out for girls with autism.
Yeah.
I don't know how much research is out there right now as we speak.
I tried to be as non-biased as I could, but I couldn't really find anything, like, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like, we'd probably have to look up, like,
specific cases.
Like actual case studies.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure this isn't just, like, something you can look up on, Fox News and look for an article, because they're probably not going to have anything about that.
Yeah, they barely have anything on autism as it is.
Yeah, so, like, you're going to have to look for actual, well-researched
case studies.
And That's probably how you're going to find that information out. And if there's anyone that, if there's any girls listening to this and you've done, or guys, I mean, whatever, but if anyone knows any information about girls with autism, leave a comment down below and, let us know if you guys have any information on that, because that would be helpful.
Yes.
And also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's our main channel, but that's for the video viewers. And also, if you guys want to access our radio station, go ahead and download the Zeno Radio app. That also has the podcast episodes listed on there as well.
Yes.
And we also have a Spotify and Google Podcasts account. So everything that is posted to Zeno will be automatically sent out to Spotify and Google Podcasts. You guys can listen on the go. It's easier when you're in the car.
Oh yeah.
If you got
to look down at your phone and get a new crash.
So that don't start a new podcast while you're driving. Do that before you start driving.
Don't watch and drive.
Yeah, don't watch and drive, people. Dangerous. So our podcast really works well for long drives for sure.
Yes.
Our podcasts usually go about 2 hours or so. So I think that's everything. And we'll see you guys next time in the next episode of Off the Grid Podcast.
See you guys.
See ya.